Hello, and what a great day to sew something wonderful. I'm Kia with Kia B.
And this is Tech Guy from the Hive.
And we are so excited to be back with you today. We do not have an unboxing. We thought we'd share a little bit of story time with you before we dive into today's project. And no, Tech Guy is not quilting today's project.
Sorry.
He just wanted to join me so we could fill you in on a little bit of new information. We could talk about his bald head and my new blue hair, as we promised you in the last couple of episodes. So, ready?
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
Okay. So, as some of you know, our youngest has hydrocephalus, and what that is a really long word for water on the brain. He's had it since he was born. He was actually diagnosed at 11 days old. And if y'all want, we can definitely film a longer story time, I guess, explaining his birth story and kind of our journey with that. But we wanted to share with you all, by the time that you are watching this, he will be enduring his 10th brain surgery. And what that means is that they have to go in and update the equipment that is in his head that is no longer suiting his needs. And so we have to go in and change part of that. Yeah, equipment. And we can absolutely, by far, tell you that we have the best neurosurgeon.
By far.
Ever. She's phenomenal, and we are so blessed to have her. And so why do we share this with you? We know that y'all were with us in this journey in October when he had his 8th and his 9th surgeries, and it's a hard time for us, and that's kind of why our videos have been a little bit more sporadic lately. We've had to have some extra testing, and
thank you for the patience.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's emotional.
Yeah.
It's so emotional. And so we just wanted to come on and share with you all and this community and just thank you all so much for the support that you've shown us in that time. And even now, when y'all didn't even know it, it's hard to put on a super happy face when we've got so much going on in the background, but we also love this outlet that y'all have helped us to create, and we love this community. And honestly, like, as Tech Guy is like sitting here getting so emotional, like, my emotional days come through like this channel and through prepping for this channel and through quilting and our quilting business, because and I'm sure so many of you can relate, but like, quilting is therapy. Like, Angela Walters actually, isn't her business called Quilting is My Therapy? Like, that's real life right now. Our youngest has been just really sick the last few months, and I've been pushing and pushing and pushing that something is going on. Finally, after lots of testing, they have figured out exactly what is going on, and so we're going to get that fixed. And like I said, as you're watching this, we're already at the hospital. We're already going through this, and so we're going to try and keep y'all updated, our best efforts, but just please know that we're spending time as a family and trying to understand and help him and support him and what he needs. And with our other two, they're 7 and 5, and we just need to love on them as much because they're kind of confused as to what's going on as well. And so we say all of that leading up to our project today. When the actual day that we got the call that things were not going like we wanted them to and we needed to have the surgery, there was like a 14-day wait between the testing that we just had done and when we were able to have the surgery. And my brain can't handle 14 days of waiting. So I was like, I need to do something. I need to quilt. I need to make a quilt. But I've already made all the quilts that I can make right now. Nobody I know is having a baby. Nobody's getting married. Nobody's moving to a new home. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to make our youngest a quilt for the hospital. And so I have made that quilt top. And what I want to do with you all is take you over to the design board, show you the quilt top, and I want to walk through what my thought process is on quilting that. I know that for beginner quilters, you kind of look at this blank canvas of a quilt and you go, what in the world do I do with it now? And so I want to walk you through that process.
It is a process because we have this huge design board. How hard is it to just piece fabrics shapes and sizes together, right? Some people would say that. It's a lot more difficult than that. And to show some humility, I do some unboxings with you guys and gals to kind of give Kia B some time to work on the projects. Lately, it's just trying to have her have time to herself with her thoughts and things like that, and be more supportive as a husband in our family. So thank you for dealing with my blubbering mess over here, and I'm able to talk now. So thank you for the support. I'm excited for what she's going to show you on her design wall about the quilt that she's making for our son Pearson, going through what he knows is to be normal. And it's an incredible story, an incredible journey that we've been going through in the last 3.5 years. And I'm going to do my best to keep you guys updated. I don't know what that looks like yet, but I want to keep you guys in the loop. So I appreciate you guys joining us month over month. It's been a year and some change now. You guys have supported us for over 9,000 subscribers, over 500,000 views, which is just amazing. I never thought in my wildest dreams that my wife could take her talent onto YouTube. So thank you very much for the support, the gracious words. Just thank you. And I don't have any bigger words to tell you that, but thank you. I appreciate that.
It's definitely been such a blessing. Such a blessing.
So let's get over to the design board, and so we can stop looking at me as a blubbering mess. All right, guys?
Yes. Okay. So first, why don't y'all come in a little bit closer, and I will kind of share some materials that you need to gather for this project. And as you've made your quilt top and you're ready to quilt it, I'll share some really handy things that you should have. So why don't you come in a little closer? We will excuse this big, bald, blubbering mess. Oh, I guess we didn't actually say why you're bald.
Or your hair blue.
Or my hair is blue. So our youngest actually needs his head shaved for part of the surgery. They only really need this back part shaved. But we just go ahead and shave the whole thing. He really doesn't mind that much. And so as he
I think he does. I think he does. So yes. we don't want him to look goofy in the OR and the operating room, and we want to make sure that we are unified as a family.
And he's comfortable. And so we shaved this guy's head. I'm actually loving it. As his wife, it's been over a week now, and I am loving it. I told y'all we had a big surprise for you. I mentioned it on a live stream a few days ago. And so I'm loving it. I think it looks fantastic. So he's shaved, and the hydrocephalus ribbon is blue. It's dark blue and then light blue. Yep, kind of our hydrocephalus shirts. And so I went to the hairdresser, and she put some blue in my hair, and just to kind of like remind us what we're doing and what the journey is as parents right now. So, that was tough to get through. I'm surprised I got through with no tears.
I thought we were going to switch. But let's get to the fun part, right?
Okay, come in a little closer. Let's look at some materials, and then we'll head over to the design wall, and we will take a look at this awesome project. Okay, so materials that y'all are gonna need for this project. I used Lori Holt's Spelling Bee pattern book. I love this book. This is like the 6th or 7th project I've made out of this book. And this is the first actual pattern that I follow. She has like quilt patterns in the book. And so this is the first quilt pattern that I have used. And y'all, she is like a quilting inspiration. She's so good at what she does. She wrote this book, and it has all the letters individually in it. And then, like I said, she's got some quilt patterns, mini quilt patterns, table runners, punctuation. I mean, she's got everything. I really want to make a whole set of letters, numbers, and punctuation for my classroom, because we are homeschool family. And so this book is amazing. If you don't have it yet, you should. It's so good. So out of this book, you are going to need, for my project, what I did is the You Are My Sunshine quilt. It is absolutely beautiful. So you'll need that. I'm just going to kind of throw everything on the ground here. The next thing that I find super helpful is just a piece of tracing paper. And why do I say tracing paper? I make notes all over it. I kind of use it as a project organizer. But why I say tracing paper and not like Lori Holt's planner that I also use, or the quilting planner is because I want to be able to trace out what the finished quilt is going to look like. And so I've done that here. I've wrote out the measurements for the different letters. I've even put fabric swatches on here. But why I want what the quilt is going to look like is because if you probably can't see it, but in red, I've designed what I want the quilting to look like. So I took the whole quilt and I looked at it after it was pieced and I thought, okay, what am I going to do for the quilting? Which is kind of what I want to share with you now. So tracing paper is really, really helpful in this process. You are going to need lots of spray starch. I have been using this splatter spray, and this is, we got in one of our subscription boxes, and this is Pineapple Grove, and not only does it smell delightful, it smells so much better than any other spray starch I've used, but it really like helps crisp the fabric without making it feel like there's a lot of starch in it. So I really like the flatter spray. Then we will need some 505 or any basting spray that you like to use. I like the Otis 505 spray. This is temporary fabric adhesive. This is to layer your sandwich together. So you've got your quilt top, your batting, and then your backing. And so you will need that. Obviously you will need your quilt top, your batting. I've got 100% cotton batting. That way it's not super, super heavy and hot for the hospital, but it is warm and cuddly, and that way he's got something to kind of hold on to. The next thing is a fabric pin or some type of marking tool that it needs to really be washable or heat activated or something like that. I just am using a friction pin, which I know there is a lot of controversy on whether friction pins are okay to use on quilt tops. I have been using friction pins for so long and I have not had an issue yet. I've read lots of different opinions. I've talked to lots of different people who have different views. So I know there are a lot of opinions out there, but this is just the one that I'm choosing to use. You can totally use whatever you would like, but I'm just using a purple friction pin. That's gonna mark out my quilting as I get on the design wall. And then I have got a really beautiful variegated Aurifil thread. This is absolutely beautiful. It is a yellow, it is color 4658. It's a yellow to orange. It really looks like a really pretty sunset. And so I've got that, and that's about it, I think. Next, I'll just kind of walk you through my quilting process and how I kind of designed on my paper, what I did to kind of talk through in my head this quilting process. Let's head on over to the design wall, and I would love to show you what I'm working with. Okay, so here we are at our design wall. This is not a typical corner that we film in, and so you might see a little bit of shadow or something because we don't have our big lights up above. This is kind of our Cricut corner, and so I've got tons of Cricut stuff up on the walls there. But this is where I had space for this rather large design wall. So let's take a look at this quilt. I wanted you to see how absolutely adorable this pattern that Lori Holt wrote. It is You Are My Sunshine. And so one of the first things you need to do when you're looking at how are you going to quilt a project, one of the first things you need to do is just look at it. Lay it out on the floor or on the dining room table or on your quilt wall, and just start to look at it and study it and say, what do I want to come out of this quilt? Do I want one word bigger than the rest? Do I want them to see straight lines? Do I want them to see wavy lines? Do I want them to see a certain pattern? One thing you can do is actually not quilt from the top. You can choose to quilt a beautiful design just from the back and not worry about the actual pieced top. You're more looking for a great quilting design. So that's an option. So I've been studying this and kind of looking at what I want to do with this, and I really wanted to do something on the play on words, whether it was quilting with free motion suns or heat waves or kind of something. I wanted it to have a lot of texture. It's going to be on his hospital bed. It's going to be here at home as he's recovering. And so I wanted something with a lot of texture to it and different types of texture. And y'all know I am not 100% confident in my free motion quilting skills. I'm working on it. So I thought, let's incorporate a little bit of everything And that way it definitely shows off the quilt top. It kind of plays on the word sun, and it gives him some therapeutic things to kind of feel. So what I'd like to do is up here in the corner, I like to kind of covering the U, and I know this might be a little bit off screen, but covering the U, I'd like to draw a sun, just the corner. And then I'd like to have all these straight line rays coming out. So I'll use my walking foot and I'll do that process first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my fabric pen, my friction pen, and I'm going to draw out that sun. And then I'm just going to start quilting with my variegated thread, rays on the sun, and just kind of fill in. Maybe there might be more up here or less down here. Just kind of going with how I think the texture is coming out. Different lengths of stitches kind of give the quilt a different kind of look. I actually just finished quilting a quilt that I did straight line quilting, and it's a rectangle project. It's not a table runner. It's much, much smaller. And I started at the bottom with a very tiny stitch length, and I would do 3 lines of walking foot stitching, and then I'd up it. And then I'd do 3 more and then up the stitch length even more. And it actually turned out really cool. So I'd kind of like to do something like that with the rays of our sun. Now that leaves the entire corner up here unfilled. What I would like to do with that is do a little bit of free motion quilting, just some squiggly lines, nothing too extravagant. And that way he's got that really pushed down texture kind of feel if he's needing something to rub or just to have a little bit more weight to the corner of the quilt like that. So I am absolutely so excited to get this all sandwiched, put together, and start the quilting process. So I'm just going to leave the camera on. I'm going to let y'all just kind of watch this process over the next couple of days, and then I will get it bound and I will get back to you at the very end and show you our finished product.
Well, we are completely finished with the quilt, and I absolutely loved the quilting on this. Again, I am not very confident in my free motion skills, but you know what? I'm learning, and that's how you learn, is you do. And so I've done some free motion quilting here in the corner, and then several rays of sunshine going down. We backed it with this really, really pretty chicken fabric, and I know from far away you're not going to be able to see it, but it's so super cute. It's a Riley Blake fabric. In fact, I believe all of these are Riley Blake fabrics. And then I put a really pretty yellow binding around it so it would be bright and sunny. I love that the quilt has so many different textures, right? So we've got this free motion quilting that's definitely more textured, and then and definitely more heavy because there's more thread. And then we've got the rays of sunshine kind of going down. So I loved it. What do you think?
I think it's awesome, and I think he'll enjoy it, especially when he's sensory seeking. He'll enjoy the thread and be able to grip something. And feel like a little piece of home is with them.
Yeah, I love it. My plan is to snuggle with it a little bit so it gets kind of our home feel, our home smell to it, if you know what I mean. And so we just wanted to thank you all so much. We know that y'all are thinking of us, and we really, really appreciate that. I also hope that you were actually able to get some good tips and tricks on quilting out of this video. I really wanted to make sure that we weren't just telling our story, that we were actually giving you good quilting tips and tricks, and that as you're planning your quilting process of your next project, that you've got some things to take with you now. So thank you all so very much for joining us in the Hive today, and we will see you later.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.